Welcome to Chicago Reacts. I'm Sonya, the thespian, and
I'm Kit.
and today we will be reacting to Project Wingman Review: Nuclear Planes Defeat the Antichrist by Max0r, suggested by Adblock Plus.
Ooh.
Whoa.
All right, well, that sounds cool. And if there's a fun video you want us to react to, like how Adblock Plus is asking us to react to this awesome video, well, just type in the comment section below and we'll get to it as fast as possible. That's right, Chicago style. So be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And by the way, be sure to check out the rest of our videos too, because the whole team here at Chicago Reacts has a lot of great content, and I think it's a lot of fun. And you learn some important life lessons too along the way. But only use one of these life lessons. You gotta use the honor code here, folks. Come on, integrity, it matters. Let's I guess watch the video.
Yeah, let's get started.
Right.
Why not? Let's gear this up, shall we?
Project Wingman is a game which encapsulates and defines the term competitive genocide. In a world where Yellowstone National Park has had enough, humanity is plunged into a post-apocalypse where the laws of war are null and void. We play as a mute, possibly autistic psychopath hell-bent on his mission to fight the Australian Illuminati, featuring such notable species as the land battleship, the battleship, and the battle bus, across a multitude of varied and interesting locations like the apocalyptic wasteland that is Los Angeles. Caught in the middle of a conflict between the Pacific Federation and Cascadia, our protagonist is forced to put aside his fight with Jack Sparrow in Louisiana to conduct a second American Revolution and facilitate tax evasion. As a member of the Sicario mercenary group, you're given the tools of destruction you need to fight off the Antichrist, because in this universe, the UN does not solve conflict, it starts it and then escalates it. So like most problems in the world, we resort instead to base violence as a means of international dispute. Bring your jets, your guns, your bombs, and your napalm.
Can I say they're already spitting game already? Just dive right into it. I like it.
Well, hey, look, let's face it. Los Angeles being a wasteland, way ahead of you. Have you been through Los Angeles traffic? It's a goddamn nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Jeez.
But yes, but I'm very interested to see how these fighter pilots save the day through peaceful means.
Peaceful. We'll see about that.
Because we're going absolute Babarusa. Confused? Good. We live in a society where this is canonically as expensive as a Mercedes and holds 182 missiles. So if you want to see a parade of destruction, melodrama, questionable engineering choices, and King Crimson, then let me be your guide into the wonderful world of Project Wingman, humanity's first jet-centric game where California finally explodes.
Yes.
Now, I know what you're thinking. A jet game, Max? You've gone insane. Jet games are played by dads that have 12 keyboards and people with actual money. And while it may appear to you that I have money, it's only because I spend it very responsibly. You will be happy to...
And you know what? That is responsible. Let him spend his money the way... But by the way, those game consoles with the jets, that looked pretty awesome.
That did. I saw that.
I want one.
Me too.
But I don't have the money for it. So there you
know
go.
that Project Wingman is neither a simulation nor has it dug into my extensive budget. I would describe the game as more about piloting a slow Gundam than the actual intricacies of real air combat. Only in Project Wingman can you do the boss fight against the guy with 12 railguns and his force fields. And yes, the force fields do turn into railguns, just like real life. Most people think that jet combat is just about circling, and yeah, that's a thing. But the difference is in how it's contextualized and iterated on, which is by insane people. One mission you might be firefighting, and the next thing you know, Crimson 1 appears for the 6th time near the active volcano. How many flight games do you know include lava damage? And do you want to know the best part? The game is fully playable in VR. Please don't use a keyboard, which allows you to do some goofy shit like physically exiting
VR, man.
I would like to play this game. I'm already involved.
I am already involved.
Look at that.
You had me at VR.
Give me a
your
VR
cockpit
set.
in the middle
Yes.
of a battle. Okay, it's a little windy, but I'm ready. Does anyone else feel lightheaded? I will say though that in order to get the real VR experience, you'll have to repeatedly
gee.
rotate your head with the life brick strapped to it. I lasted 4 missions on average before the recoiling permanently morphed my spine. You use the
God.
radar in your plane by physically looking down, not that you'll be able to by the end. Reviewing the footage, I noticed that there were moments in the game where I just died. That's not me taking off the headset, I just gave up on life. No game will make you feel this old, and nothing increases the immersion more than specifically choosing planes with as little visibility as possible for the extra challenge. I beat the entire game in 2 painful sessions, but I had never experienced anything like this ever since my house nearly burned down while playing VTOL VR. What the fuck? So in terms of VR, it's a must-have, because only in VR can we express the true, paralyzing fear of driving. So how do we fly our death machine? VR controls, after all, are difficult. Mr. Smart Guy over here thinks he knows how hands work. First of all, you'll need to get inside your real Project Wingman trademark plane. Turn on the main battery, whatever this is. Turn on the engines, but not too fast. Close your canopy. Clasp the shitting grip. Display. I don't know what this does. Boot Windows. Microsoft Pinball. Smash that radar button.
Oh,
Hit
did you just see that?
I remember Microsoft Pinball.
God, I remember that.
Yes, if you are an old school fan of Microsoft Pinball, type it in the comment section below. I remember that game, and that game got me through a lot of fun times. I had a high score in that game. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was times when, back in the day when your parent or somebody was on the phone and you couldn't use the internet, so you got on that to play because you were bored because you couldn't get on the internet.
Or
Yeah,
use it
that
at,
was
or
me.
use it after you were in a computer science lab, and
You're
imagine-
bored.
and you know, of course, the teacher's not paying attention.
You
You're playing that
say you played a
Microsoft
game.
Pinball. Yes, I was one of those people. I did that, and of course, I always hear in the occasionally I'd be a call, be like, "Mr. Kit, are you playing on that pinball?"
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Stop screwing around. Why are you punching around? Type in the document.
No, I'm
Type in all
looking at
that.
you the whole time.
Turn off the brakes. Make sure you give the joystick a good jiggle. Now, we're not going to use the carrier's
Not too
catapult.
rough.
We're just going to pray. You'll notice I forgot to unfold the wings, which are now detached from the plane. Wingless percent speed
no.
landing gear. You'll notice controlling an aircraft without wings is hard. That's all right. The guys on that destroyer don't have family. Now that I'm in the air and in the correct game, what am I supposed to do? The answer is remarkably simple. Missiles. There's a reason you can carry several hundred of them. Missiles are fucking everything. Every specialized weapon for all your terrestrial needs are various permutations of a missile. It's actually a problem because, I mean, I guess you could use unguided bombs if you want to miss. Ace Combat at least had the gall to let me use an unguided laser, but I don't know, what else could you put on a jet? A fucking dolphin? I don't want to emulate the Wii. You also have the option of a gun, which might as well be a laser, and is the most reliable way to kill anything, including entire battleships. What is in the fucking ammo? If normal bullets worked like this, Chicago would be a nuclear wasteland by tomorrow.
All right. That's not entirely true. And Chicago's never going to be a nuclear wasteland unless you're playing Red Alert 2,
Yeah.
Mission 4. I don't know if you ever played. Have you ever played Red Alert 2?
No, I've seen it though.
Okay, well, Red Alert 2, there's a mission where, as the Allies, you try and liberate Chicago, and the Soviets, being salty, decided to nuke Chicago. I can't stress out how many times I thought I could avoid that situation in playing that level. There's no way you could stop it. So,
Oh God.
yeah. Here's the city that you have saved. Now behold the power of Mother Russia. And I was just like, when Chicago got nuked, I was like, oh
No.
yes, it happened. Like, and they show Chicago getting nuked. This is the same game where where if you play the Soviets, you got to destroy the Pentagon and then destroy the World Trade Center. This game came out before 2001.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know.
See, look at y'all with these games. See,
Yeah,
them
so
ideas.
there you go.
Oh Lord.
Opposed to the current wasteland that it is now.
No, it's not a wasteland. Hey, take that
Out
back.
of a jet game, and
Don't
I
come
think
for my
they'd be
city.
improved. What truly makes a combat encounter in the game isn't the simple controls, it's how they're multiplied by the 6 pursuing aircraft. Unlike Ace Combat 7, your allies have the ability to minorly inconvenience each other. They will do, per mission, at least $3 of damage. So the balance between you annihilating everything and there being an actual battle is pretty good, although majorly stacked. Your success is uniquely predicated on the fact that you play as the world's first bloodless human who experiences literally no side effects from the Jupiter strength G-forces that he regularly conducts. You use your newfound power to conduct a series of engagements. 21 engagements. That's a lot of potential war crime trials, which is why we have to win. That being said, anything that we do pales in comparison to the good accomplished by nuking America. We're gonna have to play catch-up. Our liberation will take us all across the video game against all manner of foes, including the planes, the big planes, armies of helpless soldiers with families and dogs, and the Federation blame me, matey, it's me. Oh, fuck. But what really stands out are the boss fights. Yes, the plane game with boss fights. Shinji, get in the plane. We have to fight the angels or some shit. As for their weaponry, well, it's not physically possible. In order, you fight Crimson Squadron, French woman, and her Australian babe. It's 4 p.m. Time to get in the plane. Crimson Squadron, and Crimson Squadron's very angry nuclear enthusiast. More about him later. He's a guy. You can probably tell that it's character and the dialogue that keeps the game alive.
Whoa. Oh, wow.
Project Wingman would be an entirely different game if you weren't constantly hearing more complaining than a fucking call center. Silence is so rare that when your ally flips his shit and demands people stop fucking talking, everyone is surprised. So just by playing the game, you get a lot of lore. So I think it's a good time to talk about that. Our story begins, like mentioned, in Wyoming, where Yellowstone National Park does a little trolling, causing the tectonic plates to fucking rupture. In an instant, the entire modern age and Christianity in particular is ended. This, however, created a mysterious, volatile material called cordium, which effectively gave everyone free geothermal energy. And also bombs. What emerged hundreds of years later are the countries of the Pacific: Neo-Mongolia, Large Hawaii, Oceania, and Cascadia. Oceania in particular was once invaded by a cabal of mercenaries attempting to establish diamond dogs or some shit. Thank God that we had Skullface there to help us out. In fact, nearly every military engagement since then has been swayed exclusively by methed up mercenaries. To prevent further challenges to their rule, the Federation tightened its power to include all of the death squads, but primarily Cascadia was just mad that other people were allowed to use the limitless supply of energy that they had and wanted to sell it to everyone else at a ridiculous markup. This sets the scene for a war of independence which you are caught in the middle of, or rather, insert yourself into for money. Now the thing is, Cascadia...
Side note, with that whole thing with what's happening in Wyoming with the Yellowstone National Park,
Yeah.
If that volcano, if it were ever to erupt, it would be devastating, and Chicago would be caught in the blast area.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. It's one of those big doomsday events where it's like if that does happen, it will set out a lot of explosions. So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna need that volcano to keep it together.
Oh, I know we all want to keep it together, but it is.
Mother Nature can be like, I feel like being.
But a lot of scientists have been saying that should it ever explode or erupt, it's going to impact majority of the United States, and Chicago will be caught in the blast area too.
That's gonna suck.
Now, not in the immediate blast area, but we'll be breathing in the toxic fumes and ash.
Oh,
so we might be dying in like a little bit longer.
Oh, a little
slow death. Yeah, so it's a slow death, but you're choking. So there you go. Your lungs will be on fire.
Oh God.
There you go.
Is a real nation that exists in the imagination of insufferable people. So I can attest that the geography of where I live is well suited to guerrilla warfare. The entire Cascadian fleet, for instance, is one stolen ship called the Eminent Domain. The Federation, though, is not without a contingency plan. All across their empire, the Federation establishes peacekeepers, that's the real name, elite fighter squadrons of questionable sanity and engagement timing. The peacekeepers are so confident that they arrive late to every single battle that they're in. This directly causes their failure 90% of the time, by the way. The peacekeepers we encounter are the Crimson Squadron, one such group of elites so dedicated that they risked losing their entire air force, went to a volcanic suicide mission, and nuked millions of people because you owned them. Their squadron is led by the infamous and powerful Crimson One, who was elected the whitest among all Oregonians. Unfortunately, he's quite dedicated. Crimson One's idea of protecting his homeland under the banner of the Federation involves nuking it. Twice. It's like he's trying to make anime. He's saving his people from the pain of living. What barbarism will people slip into if we don't have the common travel passes? He's a blast to fight, unlike his friends. I wouldn't consider fighting his squadron to be the peak of gameplay. The game's bosses can be divided into two categories. Bosses that have railguns and this shit. You dodge the Crimson Squadron's missiles by rapidly turning as they approach. But Crimson Squadron themselves are always rapidly turning, sometimes at a 90-degree angle, meaning there is no no nuance. While pursuing them, you are invincible. Here's how you fight Crimson Squadron. Turn towards them. Fire a missile. Miss. Fire a missile. Repeat like 10 times until they die.
Oh, and you gotta do this like 8 different times for each individual plane. I am progressively losing my mind. My name is Cleveland Brown.
All in all, dogfights and lore, you know, that's pretty cool, but that's not why you should play the game. Project Wingman is the manic pixie dream girl of vehicle combat. Most battles feature building-sized sky ships. That was an entire boss in Ace Combat 7, and the game's just like, well, have 2 of them fight. Fuck it, you use the lasers. Everything you do has a specific melodramatic reason as part of the wider narrative, and just watching that unfold and how it affects gameplay is the real draw. I see no other way of highlighting how this works than to show you, because Project Wingman is a game that you really need to see to believe.
I will play this game.
Side note, the pacing of this game's missions are amazing. I liked it so much that I made a graph out of it, printed out the graph, and showed it to my neighbors.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Can you look at my graph?
Our first
I
act
bet people
begins
like,
with
what?
And you know what? I would be like, yes, show me the graph. Incredible. Look at those charts. Look at those numbers. That's how things get done, with attention to detail with the graphs. But by the way, I mean, holy cow. But it's like, how did everything go crazy? Like, you know, first they found this renewable energy resource that people can use, but then they decided to start building bombs with it. Why not just, you know, free energy around? I don't know. It's, forget it. I'm tired of telling people what to do.
Insertion into Cascadia. There's money to be made, people to kill, and most mercenaries are still mad about the Australian incident. But it's obvious that relying on a single mute man is bad. So you're forced to watch as Los Angeles is bombed. Oh no, the horror. It's time to revise our strategy, rethink our options, bomb our own energy sources. This way, no one will get them, except Crimson One, who sees you doing this and gets mad. This will be a theme. Now it's time to steal a boat. We really need that boat, Monarch. It's imperative that you get the boat. By the way, while defending said boat, we make the discovery that cruise missiles in this universe are pigeon-guided and exhibit traits of self-preservation. Now the war is really going on, like really going on. It's time to target a civilian airport because it will help the war. We're denying them potential recruits. They don't even know that they're being bombed because the Federation has been able to keep the war a secret for the past few weeks. This is due to the...
You can't keep a war a secret.
Not at all.
No one can do that. How can you keep a war secret? Sooner or later, someone's going to slip out and be like, either somebody's going to be stretching, you know, walking a dog, they look at the sky,
like,
see them playing spy, like, hey, I think we're at war here right now.
And it's going to spread.
Yeah, what's going on? How do you keep that
Great
quiet?
Firewall, which patriotically jams all the Wi-Fi across the entire country. There is only one course of action for me when denied of my
excuse.
YouTube.
There's going to be some hacker, some kid who's going to hack through that. No, that's not foolproof. You can't keep that secret.
Violence. A lot of violence. Meanwhile, off the coast of fucking Alaska, the Federation is sending transport aircraft to help in the war effort. These aircraft were intercepted, and then the interception was intercepted, progressing for 9 hours until the entire air force of the two nations are fighting in the same place. Every aircraft. And, wow, it's time to talk about that.
All right, look at the chaos in the sky.
I know, it's like a lot of fireworks.
Mission 11
chaos.
is Project Wingman. The planes, the trails, the visual design, every character screaming into my ears at the same time. It is beyond perfect. An epic battle between two titans swayed only by a single mute psychopath. And that music. This track got me pregnant. I think this is a great time to talk about it because the music always fits. Whether it's low tones for a sneaky insertion or a beautiful symphony rising as you descend into battle. I played this mission without the soundtrack, you know, just to torture myself, and it's literally required. This game wouldn't be good without it, and that's a serious testament to the great work that's being done. Also, Crimson One is here, late as usual, and you just beat his ass. Kept in a top-secret facility somewhere on the American continent, there is a woman. You have to track them down. It's for the war effort. So you raid the woman containment facility off the coast of Yellowstone, and she boards her fucking super aircraft with railguns and the turn radius of a nickel. Woman eliminated. Now, let's go down the list. Attack Hawaii for no reason. That's on the list. Attack people in a forest fire. That is definitely on the list. Save civilian lives. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not on the list. It's time to retake Seattle.
Wow.
With the Federation in retreat and the war nearly won. With the Air Force in disarray, we're just one step away from... If you're surprised by this, you weren't really watching the video. Do you remember how I said that the Federation basically nukes all of Cascadia? That isn't actually true. It's worse. The Federation didn't just want to nuke us to win the war. They activated all of the cordium deposits in the ground. And do you remember when I said those were used for bombs? That's right. These fuckers just started a second apocalypse. In other video games, war is hell, but in Project Wingman, war is fucking orange. On our way back, we're assaulted again by the same woman, but at this point, I don't care. My retinas are damaged. The Fallout New Vegas part of the game has begun, and we're being sent to seize all of the bottle caps that we can hold. Thank you, Joshua Graham. You may notice the game is now very orange. That's what the entire rest of the game looks like, and yeah, it hurts. Almost immediately, we're sent back to Seattle to dab on the hordes of homeless people. This is when Crimson One returns, and this time he's very mad. He nuked his house to kill you, and that didn't even work. This leads to a dogfight, which is the dogfight for Mission 11 with additional mental illness. It's clear from the dialogue that Crimson One is not used to losing. Let's help him learn. It's fucking creepy, dude. Jesus. Have a fucking Snickers. With that detour out of the way, it turns out that nukes didn't really help the Federation win. It just made a bunch of guys dress up like the fucking Romans. And with the UN on its last legs, there is one final stronghold for us to bomb. Los Angeles. Fucking finally. We struggle to take the city, fighting foes in the air, on the seas, and attempting to flee my bullets. But after a long and arduous fight, we stand victorious over the city as the music begins to pick up in the background. God fucking damn it. He just does it again. Project Wingman's story is not a Homeric epic. It's not very realistic, nor is it reasonable on any level. But standing over the ruins of everyone that I hate, the Sunny D flashing before my eyes, I come to the realization. Above all, Project Wingman is fun. None of the disparate parts of this schizophrenic game work by themselves. The combat is not Devil May Cry. The lore is not Tolkien. And we are not going to overcome our pride and prejudice. When you make a list, the game doesn't really seem that impressive. But like a chef, if we mix our ingredients well, cook at thermonuclear temperature.
I love it. Hell's Kitchen. And I've been rewatching that series too. I gotta say, there's been a big difference between how it started and where it's at right now.
That's how usually when you restart a series or when you start from the beginning and it gets to the end and you like,
Ramsey was a lot meaner. He was a lot meaner.
He was,
but he calmed down a little bit. I think it has to do with the fact that when they started kind of making fun of his voice, he just kind of chilled off a little.
Yeah, I think he kind of like, okay, well, I'm
okay, fine. I don't sound like that all the time.
And add enough rat poison, we will create a spicy blend that's so out of this world, so balls to the wall that it makes everything taste perfect. The motivation of our final boss makes no fucking sense. His arc is schizophrenia, and his obsession with you is fucking funny. I've never seen someone write a character based exclusively off of projection, but standing where I am now, there's no one I'd rather fight. He's the perfectly goofy antagonist for a game mostly comprised of clown behavior, the music, the drama, the retinal damage. This fight is as ridiculous as the rest of the game, and I wouldn't want it any other way.
Get reckless in the air.
I would probably get a seizure right now from playing this game, but I would play it.
You son of a bitch. I would like to thank my benevolent weapons manufacturers and defense contractors for funding this channel.
Nice.
Okay, I think we all learned something. In the far off future, when Yellowstone decided to go crazy, everyone's going to go crazy themselves, including a fighter pilot who hates to lose, who goes by the name Crimson One. Now, I am completely unfamiliar with the Project Wingman story. So to the dedicated gamers and players that are out there, to the kings and princes, queens and princesses, who play these games, someone heroically step up and write in full detail. I want paragraphs, proper punctuation, proper capitalization of the lore behind this series. I will read it. But I don't know if I'll remember it, but I will read it because I'm getting senile and everything's new to me. But we learned something about fighter pilots and how to fly planes, and how one mute fighter pilot basically saves the world.
He does.
And
tries his best to get it together up there in the air,
Yeah, and more importantly, someday in the far future, we might have a gaming channel, and you might see yours truly flying in the friendly sky. I will shoot you down. All right, this has been Chicago Reacts. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If it's a fun video you want us to react to, like how Adblock Plus was doing, we'll type it in the comment section below. Beware, I'm a Star Fox 64 veteran. I beat Andros so many times. Star Wolf was kissing my feet.
Don't get him started.
So there we go. There we go. Project Wingman. That's a game on my playlist if I ever have time, but I gotta pay taxes. So there you go.
All right, guys. See ya.